Hello, my lovelies. I'm Jenny O, the author with no last name, and this is Star Stable Month. I'm digging into the news articles put out by Star Stable Online and the Glassdoor reviews put out since April, and hopefully not digging Star Stable's grave, because no one wants this game to die. We want it to actually be what it says it is, the #1 horse game. In the last video, I discussed my expectations for the game isn't meeting them, and the numbers as put out by a Gamasutra article, $44 million of revenue, and 97% of those who subscribe leave. Good numbers and really bad numbers in context. In September 2021, they released a puff piece about the game to PR Newswire. It was supplied by SSO itself. So, like the previous piece for Gamasutra, it's not going to say anything bad. They had a 40% surge in first-time registrations in 2020. This is meaningless without knowing an actual number of first-time registrations from 2019 and the number of first-time registrations in 2020. I don't know how they keep track of this because as far as I'm aware, you have to have a new email for every account you make. So every account would be a first-time registration, unless they are somehow keeping track of everyone's multiple emails or actually deleting accounts but keeping an email list of previous players, which I don't think they're legally allowed to do due to COPA and the European version of COPA, GDPR, so this is an irrelevant number that is there to make them look good. Oh, 40% increase! Yay, pats on the back! They have a vision to inspire young women to create pro-social and inclusive environments. Now, this would be something of a core value for a company. Usually, this is reflected in the themes of the game's story and gameplay mechanics. Now, the social mechanics of Star Stable are junk. That's not just me talking out of my talks. The chat is unusable, there's no real good information you can make with clubs, people abandon in-game chat for Discord and other type of IM servers all the time. What social stuff they do add mostly doesn't get used. I mean, I'm not seeing people eating at Leonardo's or sitting at picnic table. So nice to have, but without a proper chat system, ultimately useless. And there's no reason to sit around either. You don't get anything out of resting in this game. And pro-inclusive has been, in my opinion, and this is only my author opinion, mostly pasted on. None of this has been worked organically into the story. It's just been told to us and shoved in our face actually over the last year. If there was actual story elements to it, I wouldn't care. I want to be shown. I don't want it to be told. And there is, in some cases, a reason they can't show it because then, well, they can't publish their game in certain markets. Not only has this inclusive been told to us, it's only been told to certain areas of where the game is published. The fandom itself might be inclusive and pumping out inclusivity content. It doesn't make the game inclusive. Please also notice, this is while not in contradiction to the Pocket Gamers article, it's not giving the same core tenet and value. While you can have more than one, and it's better you do have more than one, they need to work together, be in your game, and be used consistently. This is something Star Stable is notoriously bad at. Consistency. And transparency. They partnered with the Insights family to do some research about girls in video games. It was a US-focused study. Insights family on the surface, without much digging, looks legit. They've been around since 2017, have 17 different markets, work with 410 kids a week in the US. It's about marketing and how kids buy things mostly. I don't really want to dig into the information they release because it's not relevant on how to make their game better. This is just information that pats them on the back and tells them how to sell their game to kids better. Yuck. Really, this shows their priorities. How about working with Quantic Foundry to find out what game mechanics and things female hardcore gamers want? Or the Girls Intelligence Agency? I doubt, though, those companies would pat SSO on the back and go, "Good job." I mean, 98% of parents approve of Star Stable makes me wonder if no one is looking at Trustpilot or Common Sense Media, because that number is wrong. Then there is this statement, emphasizing the quality of today's fearless girl. What are those exactly? Yeah, I'm lost. There hasn't been much story since 2017 when Johannes took over, and I don't know what that means, especially since the player character isn't the main character of the story. Okay, sure. Mistfall has been greenlit for a long-form animated series. Oh, so that was just a sizzler. A 50-minute sizzler. I hope the animation improves drastically. Maybe that's where some of the money is going. The Soul Fighter books have each won a NAPA National Parents Products Award in the children's books category. Now, middle grade is technically children's. Technically, Amazon has it in 3 children's categories. So, okay, the category is correct. They want it for 9 to 14-year-olds. That's upper middle grade, lower young adult. And I went and I looked at the NAPA, which is the Japanese word for cabbage, website. Because, as an author, I have never heard of this word. SSO uses a lot of things I've never heard of instead of, I don't know, Newbert, or the SRB, or Peggy, instead of safety, whatever it is they have this ribbon from. The fact I haven't heard of this award is pretty common, really, because there are tons of awards out there if you seek them out. I mean, you can find them. Whether or not they mean anything is another story. So with NAPA, you have to pay to submit your product for review. Yes, they don't go looking for you. You must go to them. They're part of the LA Parent Magazine. So it is a US-based thing again. When you have to pay for a review, even if you win it, it really doesn't mean much. You've paid for some legitimacy. This company also does awards like 6 times a year in different categories. So, do these books fit under celebrating the holidays, or back to school, or summer fun? This isn't like the Heroes or the Nebulas, where you can see who is going up against each other and read for yourself. No, the companies submit to the magazine decides one way or the other, and publishes. I mean, I guess if you're a parent, and this is like the consumer review thing, you get and trust it for one reason or another, then fine. For me, it's meaningless because I can't tell who else applied, how did Star Stable win, and who did they beat out. Especially in books. This is hugely important in books. Star Stable did a press release, and Napa did one too, about what readers said, and let us not be damned with faint praise. These books are an easy read. I like they're geared towards younger girls. It's a fun ride. A great way to motivate teens and tweens to put down their screen and read for a while. Provide a little something for every reader. As an author, those are the blandest and most boring reviews I've ever seen. There is a truism that the shorter the excerpt of a review, the more it is taken out of context. Okay, so they run an award, and that doesn't tell me much about the quality of the books they were up against, if any. And the whole music thing, I'm not even sure where you can buy the tracks. More than 10 million streams across 40 hits. I don't know how any of this is defined. Like I said, this is a puff piece lacking all the important information. Like, how does Star Stable define a hit, or does Spotify do it? What are the metrics? They also released an article, if you want to call it that, in Girl's Life. I'm not going to go over this one in detail because it features actual tweens, and I'm not that type of person. The overall tone of the article, though, is 10 years out of date. Girls play video games too! Like, we know this, and it's not a huge deal anymore, really. A lot of games are gender-neutral type games now. There are female game YouTubers. There are female Twitch streamers. It's 2021. Get with the now, I guess. Now, there is between these articles a tone that is very grating. The PR tone is, I think, the opposite of what they wanted. They want you to believe that they care about making games for girls and love horse games, when the tones of the combined articles come off as, we saw a market to exploit, and man are we exploiting it. It's gross. They use tween models to push this. I need a shower. There was also a blink and you'll miss it announcement in Star Stable News when Texas Bluebell came back to the Star Stable Horses app. The app was being moved to the game developer Bongfish. Yes, Bongfish has mostly done sports games and war games. They expect to put in some more mechanics like farming and more mini games to train your horse. My reactions to this are mixed. Yay! They're moving the mobile game to a mobile developer, and maybe those employees can work on the main game again. And, why isn't farming in these mini games, etc., not coming to Star Stable Online? Give us more to do? Now, between September and October is when I learned Stacy Place had been given the position of co-game director at the company. She mentioned it on her Twitter back in July, but I don't follow her Twitter. There was a very short PR piece about it on their LinkedIn to promote a podcast she was part of, but there wasn't anything really definitive until Alice of the Main Quest did an interview with her and Johan S., the CEO of Star Stable since 2017. So she was moved into the position in July, and the Main Quest has a really niche audience, but still, nothing announced formally, if you want to count the Main Quest as formal, until the end of October. The tone of the Main Quest article is remarkably different, I think, because they were talking to Alice, who was a fellow game dev for the mobile horse racing game Wildshade, and it was Stacy and Johan actually doing the talking rather than the public relations people. The article is divided into two sections. Alice's discussion with Stacy and Alice's discussion with Johan. Some of what they said reinforced each other, some of what they said raises red flags for the future. My optimism goggles are not on right now. The article goes over Stacy's qualifications to become the co-game director at the company. This is the first time I saw anything mentioned about how she studied film and television before going into game journalism and being hired by Star Stable. Then she was the community manager, and then she moved into production manager of horse gear and characters. And now she is the co-game director. Stacy says the previous game director had a similar type of path to being game director, and it's her opinion making a television show or a film isn't too much different than making a game. Maybe? I'm not holding out any optimism, remember. Stacy says she feels they are moving in a positive direction in how they set out priorities. They want to make the game relevant for the next 10 years, and now she can push for lasting changes and long-term improvements. This includes apparently improving the game code or using a bunch of third-party software to work around their engine. And she acknowledges that the Glassdoor reviews have truth in them. Progress? Question. This is an important step, recognizing they have a problem. Yet, in my opinion, it may be far too little, far too late. Because let's look at what, according to Stacy, they plan to develop. The first thing brought up is quests, and it was brought up by Alice herself, and not Stacy. And according to Stacy, there hasn't recently been a Star Stable quest team. Now, I want to remind everyone, Star Stable actually has rotating teams, so there is no dedicated quest team ever. On top of this, there have been rumors that in 2020, Star Stable actually laid 6 people off instead of them quitting. These 6 people had worked on quest lines, stories, and some horses. Remember, rotating teams, you never know what you're going to be doing. So the stories they'd worked on included Saving Concord, Fripp, Catherine's Diary, the Flying Fox storyline, and the intro into the Wildwoods. all of which are rather lore-heavy updates, and since going into the Wildwoods, there hasn't really been an update to the Wildwoods outside of Meet Gary. These devs are willing to confirm, I guess, the Glassdoor reviews are true. Stacy is confirming here then that these rumors are true. The team that did work on story has gone, and now they have to rebuild it. This means whoever comes in has to learn the story and the lore from scratch 10 years in. It's just. I can't. Looking at the job openings in October, they're looking at 5 creative-ish positions. Producer, an animator, a 3D artist, a game designer for systems and features, a content game designer, which is their narrative designer, so a writer who also must be able to code apparently, and 3 technical positions, a build engineer, a software engineer, and a tools programmer to help with their development pipeline. So that is 8 very important positions they don't have filled or are looking for new blood to help them. Oh, and they want someone to help with their website, though mainly with their launcher. That's overdue. So looking for 5 new creative people, with Google telling me they were searching for a game director for SSO, and rumor says they've laid off 6 creative people, and Stacy Place has been promoted to co-game director. This is not a good picture being painted here. It sounds like chaos, to be honest. Hopefully, this is the break the camel's back thing, and they're going to work out a better schedule in the future. Again, it might be too late. Stacy then immediately goes, "We aren't giving up on horses," before going on to talk about what the real priorities are over quests. She reveals the character updates aren't anywhere near completion, that they are close to having the Dark Riders done. I don't know what very soon means, it's a wishy-washy term. She says they have to work with COPA and GDPR compliant software. This is bull hockey. Their chat software and their payment software needs to be COPA and GDPR compliant, and any security they set up to protect people's identities would help make them COPA and GDPR compliant. The rest of their software, like Maya or Simplygon or anything else, stuff that would actually help make the game better, COPA and GDPR don't matter. They use COPA and GDPR as a shield a lot because most people don't know what those 2 laws are about. All COPA and GDPR are for protecting the online information of kids. That's it. And since they have saved credit card information, I'm not sure if they really are compliant. Their next priority is making a framework for holiday events, and they want to do that over the next 3 years. I have no idea why it should take 3 years to do this, and I don't know why there isn't a framework in place already. Choose Christmas and basically make every event like that if that's what you want. Holiday events, in my opinion, are cute bonus extras. They aren't main game story unless built that way and should have a lower priority than quests. But Christmas is rife with grind, so maybe they're still trying to get more grind server time in the game. I don't like grind. Okay, let's put that out there. I think grind is a way to use to string out the server playtime of the game and hide a lack of story or mechanical content, like in-game stuff. I hate limited time event grind even more. Burning hatred. Because I am not an able-bodied person. I get headaches. These headaches can knock me out for 3 to 5 days. And if this happens during an event, well, I either have to grit my teeth and do the 30 minutes or miss out on certain things like cute pets. Are cute pets and outfits really worth it? Well, when they're the only thing you're getting in the game, I guess. The real answer is no, not really. She goes over the character update again. It doesn't sound like they've gotten very far. They're going to stay with the female-only character and give players more ways to express themselves, but no concrete definitions on what that actually means. Stacy insists there needs to be more horse games in general. Okay, Stacy, that's not really a good thing for Star Stable. For the players, though, it'd be a good thing. I really hate breaking off in the middle of this article here, but let's pause in digging and take a rest to contemplate the clouds, because what is coming next is, well, what the CEO says versus what the employees say, and that deserves its own video. Thanks for listening. Take care, bless, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.